took a small pause, but we are back. We hope you are doing well. And we wanted to encourage you as we get ready to continue on with our series of topics, where as you get a chance to talk about your relationship with your spouse, to check in different topics. So you can use these videos as conversation starters. You could use these videos just to have something to chit chat about, maybe as you're going on a drive, or especially as you're doing your weekly check-ins, maybe give you something to bring up in those times. And what's our question for today? This was related to acceptance.
So our question for today is, if the things about you that bother me never ever change, am I in it for the long haul?
Okay, all right. If in other words, if the things that bother you about me never changes, will you still be okay with me?
Right.
Will you still be okay with me? That's a hot question. Here's why. I remember many times counseling, when I do premarital counseling, in the church and even outside. I said it to a couple recently that's engaged, that you have to figure out if that question. I literally use that question.
So, like, is that a deal breaker?
Is that
What's
a deal
your
breaker?
deal breaker?
I'll like the things that you just really right now, literally right now, you don't like about your fiance, for example.
Okay.
I says, what if it never changes? I mean, I say never 15, 20, 30 years.
That's good too, because women tend to be fixer-uppers, right? So,
Yep.
So I have to make a choice right now that it may change, it may not change. Can I love you the way, Bible believing God is calling us to love each other? Or am I gonna marry you and think, well, it'll change down the road. But then if it don't, I'm gonna have a stress. So I have to make that choice right now, today. So I know for me, we talked about some things before we got married.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And I decided that I was gonna love you where you were at. I mean, you have done amazing changes. But I didn't know that. And they didn't come when I thought they should come. They came when you were ready. And that caused me some angst, because in my mind I was like, change it now. And I had to be content with.
Well, isn't that being not just content? Isn't that kind of giving up? Isn't that kind of settling? Settling? And that's big now. One of the things now I hear a lot.
Oh yeah, I actually read an article. How do you know if you're
not
settling?
You settle. I don't want to
It's true.
settle.
Nobody wants to settle.
I gotta go for I deserve the best, right? Are you settling?
It's true. I think, for me, you make your list. You make your list of what are your non-negotiables and what are your negotiables. And it can't be, for example, a non-negotiable for me is you can't be faithful. I'm not dealing with that. You can't be faithful.
Wait. Can't be unfaithful.
Yeah. No, you can't be faithful to
only
only
me. If
me.
I'm a person who can't be faithful
to only me.
Then that's a deal breaker.
Or you believe in multiple wives.
That was a deal breaker. Okay, that's pretty clear. That's a pretty simple
That's a deal breaker. So you make your list. You make your list of the things. I was talking to a young lady the other day, and she said that her love language is quality time.
Of course.
And because it's quality time, she's not going to marry somebody where giving her quality time is an issue.
Right. And that's a good.
She said that's a deal breaker.
That's fair.
It has to come natural. I don't want to have to beg you to spend time. She understood that, and so for her, that was a non-negotiable.
Yeah. And look, and I think that sometimes it's a line, but when it comes to this idea of don't settle, I think you got to know your deal breakers.
Yeah.
And I will still say
this. And
this.
everything can't be a deal breaker.
And everything can't be a deal breaker. I will still say this. Do not, when I give premarital, please do not marry somebody that the stuff that you don't necessarily like about them, but it's not a deal breaker, do not marry them unless you were going to be okay with it never changing in the next 30, 40, 50 years until you make your dirt pillow. Because it may never change.
It may never.
And if you can accept that, you will have a great marriage. You will have a good marriage. Another line I like to give to couples is, you are marrying a particular set of problems for the rest of your life. If you cannot accept your spouse's particular set of problems, or your fiancés, do not get married.
Yeah.
If you are married, I think that we as a people, especially in the modern world, I think that we don't do well with that. I don't think we do well with being okay with that. Your spouse is going to have issues, and some of them are just character differences. You know, one spouse is going to be sloppy, another one's going to be neat. One spouse is going to spend money well, the other one's going to spend it like a drunken sailor. One spouse that's going to happen. But you got to know your deal breakers. But my opinion and our conviction, especially before you get married, don't do it. Don't do it, right?
Right.
So I think I want to give you this encouragement. If you are just listening to these videos, you are single, do not marry anybody unless the faults, the things, not the big deal breakers, unless those things you'll feel good about with forever, don't do it. Don't do it. If you are married, I want to encourage you. There are some things about your spouse you're going to have to open up to accepting. That this is who I married. It won't be easy, but the more you can accept those qualities, those faults, those quirks that can bother you, accept them. Accept them. Learn to laugh at them, laugh with them. Doesn't mean they don't love you, doesn't mean that they're hopeless, but it does mean there are some qualities that we just don't change easily. Give us some of your comments in below. What do you think of some of those quirks? Don't be too specific, but what do you think about some of those quirks are?
Yeah.
And what has been your experience about qualities that, that you kind of wonder, man, is my spouse going to be okay with me because this kind of gets on their last nerve?
Yep. Tell us about some ways that you plan for the things about them that bother you. How do you get around it?
Yes. And until we meet again for our next check-in, thanks a lot. And we'll see you then.
Find more of our videos on our YouTube channel, Mind Change. Let us know what you think. Add comments, ask questions, give suggestions for future topics. We love